honestly though, you end up in jail. How do you think you'd do coming out of that?
Well, I probably took my way out of it, and I'd probably still win, to be honest with you, mate.
Still win. You're having a laugh.
Welcome to the No Ifs, Putts and Bogies podcast. We are a no-nonsense, straight-talking golf podcast discussing all the hot topics in the world of golf. This podcast is brought to you in association with Barretto Golf, a stylish, affordable golf clothing brand. Please visit barrettogolf.com for all the latest offers. That's BARRETO golf.com. This podcast is also brought to you on behalf of the Golf Gang Network. Please do go check out some of the other golfing podcasts. And without further ado, we welcome back our host, Mr. Harry Clark, and we welcome him back with a big congratulations, because not only was he on holiday jet setting away over the last couple of weeks, he actually grew a pair of bollocks and got engaged. Well done, Clarky.
Well done, Harry boy. Congratulations to you both.
Yeah, thank you very much, gents. Yeah, grew a pair of bollocks. Thanks, Dan.
No worries, mate. I know she's been on your case for a little while, pal. So well done for getting it over the line.
Got to be careful what I say because she could listen to this afterwards. You know, I don't want to shoot myself in the foot here. Yeah, it was absolutely terrifying in Greece, and yeah, I was sweating. It was probably about 21 degrees, 22, not even hot. But I was sweating as I was.
That's hot for Englishmen, though, isn't it? You know.
No, that is true. It's true.
That's flip-flop. That's flip-flop weather. That.
Yeah. It wasn't sliders and socks. It was just sliders.
Yeah.
Yeah. Proper Brit abroad. Yeah. Nice.
Yeah, I love it.
And
did you cry, mate, or did you give a good speech, or?
Yeah. I mean, yeah. She didn't really let me get my words in, if I'm honest. Like, she just instantly. She had no clue. No clue Instagram. Yeah, literally, she had no clue at all. So she was just bawling her eyes out straight away.
I love it.
So yeah, no, it was good. And now I'm back in the not so sunny UK. It was nice yesterday, but today, absolutely chucking it down.
Yeah, not very good here today. Agree.
No. But on the upside, I get to listen to what you boys got up to whilst I was away, and there's whispers. Somebody had a lovely round of golf.
Well, that somebody wasn't me. Well, actually, look, to be fair, what I would say is, for those of you who listen week in, week out, we're actually just going to deviate slightly because we haven't done this in a while, but I can't remember the last count, but we are officially in 11 different countries now. So shout out to obviously all the fans in the UK, Canada, United States, Germany, Austria, Australia, Spain, Ireland, Netherlands, Sweden, and Singapore. I'm just going to. The reason I've done that is I visited some friends in Cornwall on the weekend who was calling me out when I said we were on 3 continents, because obviously we've got some mates in Australia and some family in Canada. And I said, I will have you know that someone in Singapore has listened to 7 episodes, and I've absolutely no fucking idea who that is. So we are still waiting for you to reach out, because this is real and you do exist.
Thanks for listening.
Yeah, thanks. But
we're like Santa. We're like Santa touring the globe.
Yeah, mate. It's a matter of time till we take over the world, not the golfing world, just the world.
Sure.
Yeah, but as you know, if you listened last week, I had a couple of singles matches, knockout season at the golf club. The first match, I had to give away 5 shots, which is a slightly unusual position for me to be in, but I've been playing incredibly well recently. Handicap's been cut the last 3 or 4 times that I've played. So I didn't start off that great, to be honest with you. And cutting a long story short, I was 5 down through 12 holes. So that would mean there was only 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 6 holes left, right? And I was 5 down. And it was almost very nearly the greatest comeback of all time, because we were on the 18th tee and he was shaking like a shitting dog. And basically, I put it on the outside of the green and chipped on and putted it to a gimme. And so I was in for the 4 on it's 210-yard par 3. So it's a pretty good hole for me. He actually duffed his tee shot and was just over the water. and he then chipped up and was on the bottom of the green, and he lobbed. Well, he putted from like, it must have been 50, 60 foot, and he left himself still like 6 foot, and then sunk it for the half, which basically stopped us going down the first, because I halved one of the holes on the last 5 or whatever, which meant I needed to win the 18th to take us down the first, which was a little bit frustrating. But the moral of the story is mindset is everything. I was playing absolutely not good stuff, and I just thought, look, just make him play the next hole. Make him play the next hole. Make him play the next hole. I was actually walking down the fairway at one point, saying that aloud to myself. And very nearly got it over the edge. It was a bit like, I'll compare it a bit like a boxing match. If like from like the 9th round to the 12th round, I absolutely battered him. And if the fight was like one round more, I would have won. Do you know what I mean? I would have knocked him spark if it was like 1 round more. If it was a 21 hole match, I would have won. But it wasn't. It was 18. He won, fair plays in the next round. And so Thursday night, I had another match where I actually I think I got 4 shots, which was a bit more something like it. So, but I come out flying out the traps. I was 2 up through 2. Then through 4, we were all square. So I caught cold pretty quick. And then it was a pretty close match all the way through. But I think it was from about 10 through to 12. I lost 3 on the bounce, and he was 3 up through 15. So again, 16, 17, 18, I needed to win. So obviously popped up with birdie on 16, popped up with a par on 17. And then once again, I'm on the 18th tee, needing to win the hole to go down the first. So very similar vibes, but we ended up halving it with a par, 3 each. Halved it, and he managed to just get over the line. But I played a lot better that day. I was actually 2 under my handicap. Just a couple of holes in the middle that I let go. But again, solid performance all round. We hold our heads high. Fortunately out of both the singles now, but still in the doubles. Doubles match not got to be played before the end of June. So we will get that in next month, and I will update you all, as I'm sure you are all dying to wait to hear how I've get on in my doubles. But a little bit gutted, but played well both games, and we move on, unfortunately.
So moral of the story there is, don't play below your handicap, or don't start playing well. Get your handicap down, because then you get yourself in trouble.
Yes, I think a month ago I was 18 point something, and now I'm 16 point something, which gives me even less shots than just the 2 difference, because the stroke index. So I get 18 shots on the course now, whereas I think before I was getting something probably a little bit too much, maybe about 21. So I think I've lost like 3 shots, something like that. So but still living high off my medal win, just in case anyone didn't hear that episode.
I was going to say, so you've won a comp, but then the following week you've got knocked out of 2 tournaments.
Played really well though. Played really well. Do you know what? I'm in great form. I came in my last 4 outings. I've come 3rd first. Then I shot 1 over my handicap in the first match and 2 under my handicap in the second match. That's consistent golf. Considering the first match, through 12 holes, I was 5 down. He actually did play quite well,
And AB, what about yourself?
Yeah, mate, I've got no real stories, to be honest, compared to that. I'm pleased to say that I was back below 100 this weekend, so managed to scrape in with a 98. So I'm going back in the right direction. But to be fair, so I did this. We're going to do a whole pod on it, but basically, in summary, on Friday I had a club fitting, and then the guy gave me some advice as we were going. So I played all day on Saturday with trying out a new grip, having not practiced or been to the driving range or anything. I was just trying it out, take on board while it was fresh in my mind. So I'm actually quite happy again with how I'm going. I just score wise, I'm not doing great at the moment, but we'll get there. Get back.
Don't worry, mate. Those new clubs will take 5 shots off your handicap straight away.
Yeah. New clubs and new swing. I'm going to be, mark my words, I'm declaring it on the podcast. I will be back down, getting a lower handicap and getting back down towards the 80s soon. So watch this space.
Nice. Love to hear it. Anyway, let's get on to what we actually want to discuss today, which is the PGA Champ review. Obviously, we did the preview you guys did the preview in the last episode.
Yes.
Set a lot of, things out there. Who's going to win? Who's going to do well? And now it's time to see how well you boys actually did.
Yeah.
So let's kick things off with Xander, record breaker.
Yes, mate. Yeah.
AB.
So, in true no if putts or bogeys style, I have a list of statistics here about Mr. Xander Schauffele. So, first of all, though, I have to say on our preview pod, we came at it from the angle that it could be the weekend that someone gets their first major. And although we didn't specifically tip Xander, we did give him a mention. And sure enough, he has come through and finally got the major win that he's been trying to get so hard in his career. I think until Sunday, he'd been in the top 10, 12 times since he started playing majors in 2017. So he's been exceptionally consistent, and he's finally got a win.
I think it's something like top 20 at the last 8 majors or something like that.
Yeah, I mean, he's a gun. He had a bit of a reputation as being a bit of a bottler, none more so than the week before. So to actually bounce back and deliver a win, it was technically, I think one of the days he was joint leader overnight, but it's technically wire to wire because he was leading on all 4 days. And yeah, so some of the stats. So first of all, the big one, it's the lowest score to par in major championships. So 21 under is a record score. The previous record was 20 under. So I think that DJ, when he won the Masters, Jason Day when he won the PGA, and Henrik Stenson when he won the Open, all carded 20 under. But so Xander's broken that. He hit on day one a 62, which is second career 62. There's actually only been 5 in total, and now he has 2 of them, and 4 of those have actually come within the last year. So going back
to Shane do it like 2 days later, or have I made that?
Yeah. Well, you've ruined that stat about Shane. I've got him later on, but yeah.
Sorry, mate.
Yeah, so Shane Lowry also did it in the tournament. Yes, you're quite right. 62 on day 3 on Saturday. Absolute gun. He had a really good tournament. But Schauffele, what else did he do? So 25 birdies, which is tied most in the PGA Championship. And he's basically the first player in major history to have made 25 or more birdies in multiple tournaments, in multiple major tournaments. So he did it previously at the 2019 Masters.
Wait, say that again. He's the first player
in major history to make 25 or more birdies in multiple tournaments.
That's a pretty good fucking stat, that, isn't it?
Yeah,
Drink that in, guys, because that is a fucking good stat.
Yeah, and then,
DB, you are kind of taking over AB's stats corner here.
Sorry, I just had to.
He's done all the research.
He was going to reel that off without actually letting people let that one sink in. 25 birdies in 4 days.
Yeah,
that's like 6 or 7 a day.
Yeah, so he's done that twice. So the 62 he's done twice, and now he's done that twice. So, like we said, he's been a bit of a gun in major tournaments. He's just finally got his win that he deserved really this weekend. And then final one. So a little bit noisy, this one, but he's basically the first reigning Olympic champion to have won a major. Now, little asterisk against that because Justin Rose is the only other person that could have done this. But now that golf is an Olympic sport going forward, it's pretty cool to say that you were the first person to do something. So he is the reigning champion, Olympic champion, and he's the first to then card a major as well. So yeah, pretty special weekend, really.
Nice. I'm thinking for the next pod, AB, we get you like a little bit of sound, like I do the countdown, like dictionary corner. We get you like a little bit of a little stat corner. And the good news is now we can go over to Waffle Corner, and in there we have DB. DB, want to talk about the notable mentions of my mate and Islands in the Stream partner? People will know from listening to the previous pods, but Mr. Bryson. Do you want to kick off?
I have to say, I thought for that, but I know I love Rory on this podcast, but in general, real life terms, Bryson is my favourite golfer. I think I've said that on a few occasions, and I have to say, I thought this was the one. I thought this was it. Well, he's obviously won the US Open and stuff before, but I thought, here we fucking go. And do you know what? When you shoot a bogey-free 7 under on the last day, and you're only 2 shots off the lead at the start, generally 9 times out of 10, you're thinking that's enough. And obviously, AB's just touched on there. Xander's broke the record. He's obviously shot 20 under, Bryson, at a major championship.
So, just on that, he is the first player to card 20 under and not win.
Well, there you go. Sums it up. My guy, Bryson, 3D clubs. He also he actually did, although he putted quite well, he did slip a few by. And I do think that he will maybe look back on that one day and think. But one thing that I really liked that Bryson did, and I respect it highly, is because it really fucking annoys me when I see people do this when I've been to the golf. But I think it was on the Sunday. It might have been on the Saturday. But he was walking through from one hole to the next hole. And there was obviously where the crowds are. He went to chuck a golf ball to a kid. And some literal middle-aged man, I'm going to put him at about 45, caught the ball in front of the kid and actually started to run off. And Bryson stopped dead. Bear in mind, this guy's in contention at a major championship. He stopped walking to the next hole, shouted at him. He's got his putter out at shoulder height, waving his putter in the crowd, and said, "Come back here," made the guy walk back and give the kid his ball. Now, I know a lot of people in golf don't like Bryson, but if that doesn't earn Bryson's respect from you, I think that's the correct way of phrasing that, then you need to have a look at yourself, because the bloke's a bit of a legend. He also was the longest driver of the weekend with an average drive 360 yards or something. 330 yards, I think, is his average drive. Longest drive was 360. He drove it like a fucking gun all weekend. And he also chipped in for an eagle and just did some general cool shit. He's just a fucking good guy. And you can't not enjoy watching him. He is, regardless of what anyone says, in my opinion, and I think probably factually when he plays well, the most enjoyable golfer to watch, right? There's people that shoot a lot of birdies, but it's still quite military mediums, how I would say. It's like Scotty Scheffler's just middle of the fairway, middle of the green, might sink a putt. It's a nice one, pal. You're obviously fucking sick, but it's not that exciting. Whereas when Bryson drives it and then knocks it a wedge to 2 foot, and then, it's exciting. The chips in for an eagle is good. But so I respected him for that. Have to say, in terms of our tips, although he's the only one to get in the places, he very nearly won at 25-1. So I'm calling that a good tip as far as I'm concerned. Also,
agree.
5 out of the 6 players that we tipped made the cut, which I think a lot of golf pundits / tipsters, that doesn't happen for them every week. Rory McIlroy was 12th, which is just outside the places. A lot of bookies will pay up to 10. Bet365, who we use their odds. Shout out Bet365 if you ever want to sponsor the pod.
Can we just talk about him a minute? Rory, what's going on?
Look, this also, there was a moment where I thought this could have been the one for him, right? But the second round, I think he shot level par. And
that killed him, yeah.
That just ain't good enough when everyone's flying in, really. He's had, realistically, he shot, I think, finished on 12 under.
He played very well. He played very well across all 4 days, but he shot level on Friday, which pretty much killed him. And then on Saturday and Sunday, he put himself in good positions, but wasn't holding the birdies. And then because of that Friday round, if he'd have been closer on Friday, he was just forcing it a bit over the weekends, and then even then, he would miss a birdie putt, and then the next hole would bogey. And just forcing it too much.
Yeah, I think sometimes he tries a bit hard, because over the course of the weekend, he shot 12 under. And in that 12 under, he's hit 9 bogeys and a double bogey. So he's actually hit probably, someone do the maths on that, similar amount of birdies to like the leaders.
Yeah, it was very up and down.
Do you know what I mean? Like he's 12 under and he's shot 9 bogeys in a double, so that's 11 shots dropped. So if he went bogey free, which not a lot of people would do, but let's just use that for an example. If he went bogey free, that would have been 23 under. Is that right?
Probably. I'll take your word for it. But
yeah. So, but then say even if he had a bogey a day, he's in contention, you know, minus 19. And then if he, you know, you get rid of that double. But when you're in contention as well, like
you do things differently.
Xander's got thoughts in his head. Like I was level with this guy last week on a Sunday, and he beat me by 7 shots. And Bryson's thinking I'm up against Rory McIlroy, and like you know some other notable players that threatened that you know weren't really there at the end. But like you know your Colin Morikawa started the day right in the mixer. I know he shot evens in the end, but on the last day, and like Victor Hovland was you know threatening at one point. Like if you have a Rory McIlroy there breathing down your neck. You think about that, right? Like it's literally what happened the week before. So I think I don't know what the guy's got to do to do it because he's playing good golf. You can't really knock it when someone shoots 12 under, and you know we're picking out. We're actually like annoyed that he shot 12 under, and when you put that into perspective. It's actually a little bit mental, really. Like the bloke's gone to a major championship, shot 12 under par, and we're going to sit here and like grill him for it. But it's only because he's good enough to win. He's good enough to win these things, and it's frustrating as a Rory fan that he's not there because it's a frustrating watch. That second day, he had a lot of putts like slipped past. Like we were talking now, I think on the third day, he could have literally.
Saturday.
It was like 3 or 4 holes where if the putts just dropped, he would have been joint leader.
Yeah, I mean, he hit 5 in a row, but then that 5 in a row could have been 8 in a row, but then he made an error. And the problem is that 5 in a row didn't put him really into contention because he'd been evens on Friday and he was too far back. So it's another one that started well, but has slipped by. There's too many people on the circuit now that are good, basically. You could see by the scorecard and how many, you know, got to close to 20, high, you know, 18, 19, you know, people hitting 62s. Like the level of golf is absolutely outrageous. Actually, here's another little nugget for you all. The combined score for this PGA Championship was 214 under par. And the previous best I think it's just at Valhalla. It may be overall. I tried to remember this one, but I haven't got the specifics now. But was like 40 over. So there's basically like a 260 odd shot swing, basically combined across the field.
That's actually mental when you break that down.
Yeah. So the level of golf, I mean, it seemed like it was quite an easy PGA Championship when you hear those numbers, but the actual standard of golf is like outrageously good at the moment. And, you know, there's all this chat about rolling the ball back and making courses harder and stuff. But I don't know, I quite like the fact that people are going low and it's exciting when there's so many. I mean, there was literally any one of like 15 people could have won on Sunday.
Yeah, fuck the golf.
That's what makes it exciting.
Now,
you know, the name of the game is to go around in the lowest amount of shots. So if it just becomes like, you know, ridiculously low, that's good, in my opinion, because it's not just one person doing it. There's loads of them doing it. And it makes it an exciting spectacle. Like, I mean, Schauffele won on the 18th green, like with a birdie putt to go and break a record. Like, it doesn't get much better than that, really.
Yeah, I'm fully against the golf ball rollback, but we won't get too much into that now. But I don't understand why they want to fucking do it, because golf is good and it's exciting and it's just generally, it's a difficult sport anyway. Why are you going to make it more difficult? Also, like, it's not like the same, like obviously Scotty's been on like a good run, but it's not like the same person is winning every week or top of the long drive stats or top of the putting stats or top of the wedge stats. Like it fluctuates and people are different every week. And like, you can never replicate the same golf shot twice. Like, just let them fucking go out there and do their thing. And like you say, like, there was, tied 68 and 72nd players this week were under par, which is cool to see. There was only, that made the cut, 1, 2, 3, only 4 golfers over par. But like, there was a few people that had mares. Like, there's some big names that missed the cut. But in general, you want to see the best golfers playing the best golf. I don't really understand why anyone would want to get away from that. Friend of the podcast, Wyndham Clark, didn't have the best weekend. Finished on +4, got cut. But yeah, Mackenzie Hughes, fellow Canadian, got cut. John Rahm, cut. Matt Fitzpatrick's cut. Ludwig Aberg, cut. He was the only one of our tips that didn't do it. So, like, these guys are like major winners.
I was surprised by him, to be fair. I thought he'd have been a bit better.
Yeah, but a lot of these guys are like major winners or like, you know, top 20 golfers in the world. And, you know, they're not making a cut. So, like, why are you going to roll the ball back when just because someone else did really well? Like, someone else just turned up and had a good day. Leave them alone. Like, that's the game.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's, you know, that's a different story. But yeah, also, go on now, tell us about Shane Lowry. He had obviously a really good round.
So Shane, like, I think at one point was close to not making the cut, and then he made the cut, and then started off Sunday in contention because he shot a 62 as well on Saturday, and he had a birdie chance on the 18th to break the record and become the first player to get 61, and he just missed.
Xander's 62 was the same, I think, wasn't it? He had he two-putted the
probably, yeah. I think the 18th a par 5, so he was trying to get a 4, and he ended up tapping in for a par. But no, Shane was class all week. Really, it was good to see. Hopefully, he goes well for the rest of the year and gets to hopefully in contention again. Another shout out to Victor. You mentioned him there before. He was near the top of the leaderboard. So he's actually had a bit of a stinker in 2024, which, considering he won the FedEx Cup last year and then was mint at the Ryder Cup, but he changed coach, and basically he's been using a coach for a few months and has not been doing very well. Missed the cut at the Masters, hasn't really got anywhere near contention in any tournament this year, and he's basically stopped using that coach that he went to and went back to his old coach, and then rocks up and nearly wins the PGA Championship. So hopefully we'll see better things from him throughout the rest of the year.
He actually publicly said he nearly withdrew from the event because he was just feeling like he was playing like shit, which is also mental.
Yeah.
But I suppose... Go on.
Yeah, I was going to say on that point, right? So we're all amateur golfers that have a really high handicap, right? And we shoot very average scores like every weekend. And part of that is because we don't practice, we have no coaching, we just rock up and play. So a lesson for everyone here is just enjoy yourself on a Saturday and don't worry about it too much. Like Victor's he's at the top of the game and he's almost thinking about withdrawing because he's not doing very well. And he's switched coach and he's figured it all out. But we don't get that luxury. So rather than actually get pissed off on a Saturday, let's just chill out and enjoy ourselves.
Yeah, happy golfers are good golfers. The more happy and more relaxed you are, the better you'll play. So
because his coach, even though he's gone back to him, he's not going to have done much in like a week or so.
Nah,
he's just in a better headspace and he's enjoyed himself and he's had a laugh over the weekend. So
stories, not scorecards. Not scorecards.
That's what we're all about.
Now,
if anyone's made it half an hour through this and you're thinking, why haven't they fucking mentioned it? We're about to get there. So, anyone in the world of golf, I'll drag out a little bit longer. Anyone in the world of golf, or anyone who pays any remotely close attention to golf, or even if you just own a TV or a mobile phone, should probably be aware that Scotty Scheffler, man of God, new father, reliable member of the community, somehow got himself fucking arrested at 6 a.m. in the morning before the second day of play. Now,
We actually said after the Masters how many more majors could he win, right? And people were saying, there was 2s, 3s, and someone came back and said that he might not win anymore because he's having a kid, and that might be his downfall. Little did they know, getting locked up was his downfall.
Well, yeah. Speaking of the whole kid situation, he teed off and was in the hole in 2 strokes on the first hole on Thursday. So
it was actually quite outrageous.
It was absolutely sublime. The ball was in the hole in 2 shots, and he never took his putter out. Basically, he just smacked the drive.
169 yards or 100.
Yeah, smacked his drive to the middle of the fairway, nearly 300 yards. Then probably hit like a 9 iron or something, or an 8 iron, 160 odd yards. 1 bounce in the cup. Thank you very much. I'm back. A 2 on the first hole. Like, it was just fucking ridiculous. And yeah, I mean, he's ended up finishing tied 8th because on the hole he actually had an absolute blinder. So he was under par for 3 out of his 4 rounds, but the 3rd round, right, was the famous, well, will be the famous round now because he let his caddy, Ted Scott, go to his daughter's graduation. And he's ended up with a 73, which is 2 over. And that was his first round of golf in any tournament for over par in 41 rounds.
Yeah.
So if you think about, so that's like just over 10 tournaments, and it was his first one, and he's ended up tied 8th from 13 under anyway. So he was 8 shots back. But if he'd not been 2 over and been maybe a little bit closer, he may well have done it. I mean, he is still the best golfer by a country mile, I think, and he showed it because of what he's obviously had a few weeks off because of the birth of his child. He's rocked up, he's gone well on round 1, and then this whole chaos that happened on Friday morning when he was an early tee time to actually even make his tee time at 10 o'clock, having been arrested like 4 hours before, and then even that day, the Friday, he was under par. I mean, it's just ridiculous. It's absolutely ridiculous.
But what it shows is that Scott is no good without his caddy, right? So,
basically,
well,
it shows the importance of the
that way, yeah.
So yeah, he's not actually that good. It's all in his caddy.
There's definitely an element of it, without a doubt. I know we sort of joke about it, but it literally is that. Like, and it. Go back on what we've discussed in a previous podcast. If we had caddies and stuff, would we do better or would we do worse? Well, the proof's in the pudding because we all think, oh, Scotty Scheffler, he's fucking class. But really, without his matey on the bag, he ain't got a fucking clue. He's miles off it. He's shot, well, not miles off it, but, the proof is in the pudding.
How would you boys react to, like, going into prison? I've never been in jail myself, but could you imagine like something like that, so traumatic, and then being like, oh yeah, just rock up on the course? Do you reckon anyone knew at that point as well?
Yeah,
they all knew. They all knew. They were interviewing players whilst he was in the cell getting his mugshot done. Brian Harman actually did an interview.
Yeah,
and it was like quite a good one.
I mean, I've never been close to being arrested, but I think you've had a few brushes, haven't you, DV?
Oh, I've had a couple, but our parents might listen to this. No, I've had a few run-ins. I'm a good law-abiding citizen, but let's just say sometimes I can get a little bit wound up, as we all can, and I'm not one to mince my words, but look, I've never been in the back of a police car or in a cell or anything like that. Only, verbal altercations. And true to form, I usually talk myself out of it. So
Shock.
I think if this was happened to me, although in America there's not really any reasoning with them. Shout out to our American listeners. I mean this with no offense to your policing system. You guys do you. You're an independent country. You carry on. But you can't really reason with them from the videos that I've seen. and the only way to reason with them is to comply and just go to jail, basically, and then wait for someone to come and get you out. I'd like to think I'd still be able to somehow talk my way out of it and like just get there on time. And like they actually delayed the start because the real talk, obviously, we should probably say there was a tragic incident where I think it was a member of staff or someone that was working on the course actually sadly passed away. So, you know, that's never an ideal situation. And it's a tragic moment for everyone that was attending the event and everyone that was nearby. And it was probably some horrific scenes for people nearby. Obviously, Scotty's got confused with what the police are trying to do, directing traffic and whatnot. So he's then obviously landed himself in some hot water and clearly just not done a very good job, or they weren't listening to him trying to explain what the scenario was, because they literally cuffed him up straight away from what I saw, clipped on social media and took him away. But to answer the question, I think I'd cope with it quite well because I'm quite good at seeing the funny side of these things once I've calmed down a little bit. And I usually, if I've got a bee in my bonnet about something, tend to perform a little bit better. Like if you wind me up, I will do better just to prove a point. Like I like to prove the people wrong. So if everyone's going like, "Oh, how's this guy going to play today if he's been in jail?" I think, fuck you. I'll still play better than you, type thing, So I think I would have thrived in the environment, but not an ideal one going to jail, I have to say. So I don't think I'll be putting myself in that scenario anytime soon.
What about you, AB?
Yeah, it's hard to say, mate. I don't really know. Like I said, I'm not like DB. I've never really been close to that.
You make me sound like I'm a criminal, mate.
Yeah, no, I did actually get a driving offence once when I was in the back of the car. But I get rattled too easily on the golf course sometimes, so I probably wouldn't have been able to cope. But yeah, going forward, I'm going to take my own advice and just enjoy myself, I think, because life's too short. So yeah, going forward, I'm just going to chill out. I have actually got better over the last few weeks anyway. Just even like when I've scored shit, I've just come off and had a pint and a pasty and gone home happy. So yeah, I think it's hard to say. I mean, I definitely would get rattled with that sort of thing, and then I would have been chuntering away probably all the way around. So yeah, luckily.
Just on the note, I think when he came onto the course was like so behind him, despite not maybe having all the details of what's gone on, and we still don't really have that. I don't really know. Supposedly he's been done for second-degree assault of a police officer, whatever that means. As far as I'm concerned, not that I know the guy personally, I don't for 1 minute think he's assaulted a police officer.
Yeah.
So for what it's worth, that's my opinion. And you can clip that up, quote it, do whatever you want with it. But yeah, he actually came out, piped the first one. I think he birdied the first hole, and he still shot like 6 under for the day or something stupid. So he looked calm, as you like, and the crowd, I think he was playing with Wyndham Clark and Brian Harmon, I'm going to say, as the three major winners, previous major winners. And they do the thing on the tee where they're like, and US Open champion Wyndham Clark, and everyone's like, ooh, like little clap. And then it went, and the Open champion Brian Harmon. Everyone's like, ooh. And then it went, and your world number 1 golfer and current Masters champion. Everyone's like, come on, Scotty, let's go, Scotty, let's do it. And everyone was going like nuts for it. And he just piped it straight down there. It was like, like when Tiger used to rock up and you see all the clips and all. I'd never heard a reception quite like it for any of the other golfers. So fair play, Scotty.
He's the undisputed number 1.
For now, for sure, without doubt.
100%.
Just wanted to highlight a funny Instagram post that I saw from Max Homer, friend of the podcast, someone that we tipped for this weekend. One of my golfing partners that I selected on a previous podcast. Shout out Max, if you ever want to come on, you know where we are. But his caption on Instagram, this is how low we've got. I don't even really like Instagram, to be honest, but I find myself reading this shit now. And I actually laughed out loud a little bit. So he captioned it, frustrating week in KY, which I'm guessing is Kentucky. Were they in Kentucky?
Yes.
Yeah. Lost to a guy who was literally in jail Friday morning. Tough look for me. the journey continues in Fort Worth next week, and he like posted some like photos of him like struggling out of a bunker and stuff, and I just thought it was quite funny.
Yeah, that's actually a really nice way to end episode 9. Max Homer giving us a nice little laugh.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so.
Just one final special mention to friend of the pod, Taylor Gooch. I tipped him last week, and he made the cut, which is better than what I thought he was going to do. But he wasn't. He wasn't overly relevant across the 4 days. I think he finished 2 under or 4 under or something. He was basically like 60th or something. So,
well,
yeah,
I'm sure Sander will sleep so well at night knowing that there's no asterisks next to his major win compared to the 4 major winners of the previous year, all with asterisks next to them.
Yeah.
He'll know no asterisks for him. But real talk, I actually thought, considering Taylor hasn't really done much recently.
He's had a good tournament.
Make the cut at a major.
As expected, he wasn't all that relevant. So
I don't think he was shown on television once. I watched quite a lot of it. I don't think anyone knew he was there particularly, apart from us, of course.
We're across everything, mate. That's why
we cover it all.
Have we got any more friends that we want to shout out whilst we're here, or any more brands that we're going to try and con into, sponsoring the pod?
Not today, but we do have some good pods coming up. One of which I've had some new clubs fitted recently, so we're going to do a pod, and we will shout out a variety of golf brands, no doubt. But yeah, I haven't got anything else to add, chaps.
Okay, well, I'll round off then. Episode 9 done. Thank you very much for listening. As DB mentioned, all the people across the globe, we want you to get in contact with us. We want you to know everything that's going on for us, and we want to know what's going on with you. So make sure you get in contact with us, and we will see you in the next one, episode 10.
One final thing. Harvey from Gloucestershire, we haven't forgotten your question. We are getting there. There's just been some big events in the golf world recently. So it will be on the next week's podcast, I promise.
Yeah. Stay tuned, Harv.
Cheers,
Over
boys.
and out. Roger, Roger.
Well, guys.
Well done, team.